Hey everybody! Today is an unbelievable day because the sun is shining in Minnesota for the first time in, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. And that means the car behind me is gonna go from winter mode to summer mode. It's still wearing the winter wheels and tires. So we're gonna start that transformation, but it's more than just swapping wheels and tires. There's a lot of cleanup and inspection that goes through with this process each spring and fall for me. So I'm going to take you along for that rather boring journey. Don't worry, we'll time lapse a lot of this and we'll break in to kind of illustrate some points along the way. So happy viewing. So as you can see, this car is wearing the Mille Miglia Cup, and these are actually the 17 by 7.5 inch variant. They're a bit dirty, but we'll get those all cleaned before they go, before they get put away on the shelf here. And we're going to do a good wheel well cleanup as well. And we're probably going to do some lower door moldings on this. They're starting to curve a little bit down there, so we're going to kind of clean all that up. And this may be a multi-part video because this ultimately is going to culminate in a full top to bottom detail of this car. So we're going to do inside, outside, under the hood, everything from the door jambs to engine bay to you name it. So this might be a long one, might be a multi-step thing, but this is basically how I preserve my cars. And throughout the winter, I mean, it's Minnesota, we get salt. I am frequently spraying these wheel wells and the lower rockers, and everything on this car gets sprayed with this SaltSCARS solution that I've been using for several years now. And including under the car, I rinse it off. I don't necessarily run it through the car wash as often as some of you might think, but I do frequently spray this off with warm water and SaltSCARS, and I rinse away all that nasty stuff in the critical areas of the car. And I've been doing that. I've actually been doing the hot water sprayer technique for many years on also on this red car when I used to daily drive this, and it has actually worked out really well. It gets that salty, nasty stuff off of the car, and you know, you can still drive it and not worry about it completely rusting away. So here we go. Enjoy. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the summer wheels pulled out of the shelf here. They're Borbits, and I've got the one Porsche Cup off, and you can see I'm basically due for new rotors. These are European A8 rotors on this particular car. I forget what size they were. Porsche 993 calipers. This is actually part of an ECS kit, so it has the death brackets on the back. So we'll be inspecting those closely. I look at them at least twice a year to make sure they're not cracking. But also, I get this all cleaned up. So right now it's pretty dirty. Also, this does have H&R springs, so any of you that live in the Rust Belt, these springs are known for, yeah, they crack. They rust and they crack. So I've seen, in fact, this car is on the second set of H&Rs. The first ones, they used to put plastic sheathing on them, so they'd have a little section of plastic, like a coil protector on there. And if you have those, cut them off of your car right away, because that's basically where it rusted out and failed. It traps water in there and they will fail. So yeah, take care of those, and then I'm going to start cleaning this up, and I will set up a little time-lapse camera, I think, at this point. But I basically go after it with Simple Green and some brushes. You can see I've got just an assortment of brushes here, some Simple Green. This is actually recycled Simple Green from my ultrasonic cleaner. Works well for the wheel well and undercarriage areas. So we're gonna do that, and then a lot of this area here I end up cleaning up and repainting from time to time just to keep surface rust at bay. And I can see it's just got a little hint of it there. We'll see how that cleans up. But at some point this summer yet, I'm gonna actually take all of this apart. It's getting new conies. It's getting, we'll see about the springs if we just clean them up and recoat them, but basically tie rods, control arms, like everything's going to be new. All the bushings, we're going to go through and rebuild the brake calipers. So I've got pistons and seals for these, probably new rotors, obviously. But this car is going to get a full suspension redo, including subframe bushings and whatnot. So that will be coming, or should be coming, later this spring or summer. Okay, so at this point I've done some initial cleaning with just some simple green and my brushes, and you can see it's a lot cleaner in here now, which is good. Still have a little bit more to go. I'm going to actually get out my blower and dry all of this, and then I'm going to treat all of this liner material, and then we're going to actually fix the alignment here so that I can get at this little, get just a little bit of flash rust on the front of that, nothing severe. But I'm going to clean this up. We're going to take that off, clean out behind here, probably take off this trim piece, get everything cleaned up, and continue on. And you can see there's some paint missing there. We'll take care of that at a little bit later date when we start tearing into the suspension, because these will all come apart and come out, and we're going to go full through it and restore them at that point. So normally I would take care of it right now, but we can actually procrastinate a little bit. Okay, so I have it all cleaned up. I took the fender liner out and cleaned out that corner. I've got to find my touch-up. I'm going to actually sand this down and pour 15 this, and then top coat it in pearl, and we'll make it disappear. But yeah, there's nothing perforation related here. It's just a little bit of surface, and the rest of this wheel well is clean. And we treated the vinyl liners with CarPro Pearl right there. Same with the sidewalls of the tires, and I also cleaned out the wheel barrels there. And a little trick for that is some very light steel wool and a little simple green. Don't have to rub too hard, just enough to agitate it around a little bit, and then rinse it out real good, and they come nice and clean. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this wheel on and move on to the next corner. So I'm just wrapping up the driver's side wheel well now, and these are the winter wheels. Got them all cleaned up, ready to go back on the shelf. And on this side, doing the little inspection, kind of the same as the other side. I'm gonna end up refinishing all of this. Actually doesn't look too terrible though, considering it's been a while since it's been gone through. I did take the liner off and cleaned out very well behind here. Actually use a toothbrush to get in and agitate everything and get it out of there, and then spray some rust inhibitor in there, which I can kind of put a link for everything I'm using in the description in case you're curious. But got it fairly well cleaned up, and I'm gonna put the wheel back on. Okay, here we are at the driver's side rear, and this side is actually pretty nasty. When we rebuild this, it's going to be a fair amount of work. In fact, I'm kind of debating, I'm thinking about getting new springs, because these are a little rustier than I like. They really took a toll in the last couple winters. And you know, they're a little more shielded, so when I rinse, I try to spray through the wheel down here, and you get bits of it, but it's hard to really get those good. But the rest of it actually looks pretty decent. Not a ton of rust. And I do have new rear calipers, new in the box for both of my cars, so we're gonna do full calipers and lines and pretty much everything. We'll clean everything up. And all these bushings, I've been collecting them for a while, so I know they're pretty tired in this car. So we'll be taking care of all of that hopefully soon. Right now my number one priority is to get the S8 out of my garage, so I'm just transitioning this car to summer mode with these wheels, and then I go back to work on the S8. So I'm gonna continue work on this one, and we got one left. So we've got the Borbit summer wheel back on here, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with this CarPro Pearl. I've been using this on the fender liners, and once I clean them, I coat them with pearl, as I've done with the outside of the tire there, and it does a really nice job, and it actually seems to last fairly long compared to some of the other products I've used. So, final corner. This one's pretty ugly. This is passenger rear, and you can see those H&Rs are doing what H&Rs like to do, rust. But the rest of this, like I said, it's gonna get all new brakes, bushings. In fact, that whole rear arms coming out, we're gonna basically go through and refinish everything. So if there's a little surface rust anywhere, it's gonna get cleaned up. It's gonna get treated with POR 15, and everything will go back together. So this one will be basically spotless when it's all done. But I've got some good rust remover as well, but we'll talk about that at a later date. So I'm gonna go start cleaning this one and hopefully wrap this up soon. Okay, so we've got the car successfully changed over to summer mode. We've kind of done our initial inspection, and my initial thoughts are right. I need to fully rebuild the suspension in this car and clean everything up, and probably do some of the undercarriage as well, since the subframe will come down for the bushing replacement and everything. We'll get everything all, you know, truly clean and recoated in POR 15, and it will look pretty much new underneath, I think, when I'm done. So that's great. Also, gotta mention this thing. This is a little tire inflator that I'll put a link to this thing, but I bought this. I had a tire that would go low on the snow tires occasionally before I got new tires, and bought this to keep in the car because I could just hop out and I can set my pressure and then just hit the trigger and it will inflate the tire to whatever I set the pressure at on here. So it actually works really well. I just aired up these summer tires, and one of them was, you know, about 9 pounds shy, and so fully inflated that, did all 4 of those. Actually went around and did them on the S8 in the garage here as well, and I've actually yet to run out of battery on that thing. I've charged it once or twice and have used it actually quite a bit, so I'm not sure. I don't know, you know, if I could inflate one from full flat. I would assume I could do one, but I should, you know, maybe test that sometime. But for general daily use and for like changing over wheels and tires, rather than dragging out your compressor and long hose reel and all that, if you have a garage that's, you know, got that easily set up, then more power to you. But my garage, I don't really have room for a compressor, so I have only a small little pancake type compressor, and then I have to drag all that out, hook up all the, you know, hoses, everything, and it's just not as convenient as I just plug that thing in and away I go. So anyhow, well, that is it for today. The car is still dirty. It doesn't look too dirty in the video, I'm sure, but I think tomorrow we have another good day. So my plan is at lunchtime, I will probably give the car a bath, at least initially, and kind of go from there. So thanks for watching, and more to come in the future. So that's not good. Super not good. So, $112 tow later, we got the car back home, and now I'm just trying to figure out what actually happened to this thing. Yeah, I thought for sure maybe I sheared this bolt, but that actually is still there. Let's see here. I have to pop the hood and take a look up topside here. Well, that's not good, obviously.